The end of Hercules. How did the legendary hero die? The 12 labors of Hercules are known to almost everyone, but few are aware of the final days of the legendary hero. Let me remind you that Hercules was a demigod. His father was Zeus, and his mother was a mortal woman named Alcmene. Zeus's lawful wife, the goddess Hera, was known for her jealous nature. She fiercely hated Hercules and did everything in her power to make his life miserable. Despite his immense strength, Hercules was still half mortal, and one day he was destined to die due to an unfortunate twist of fate in love. With his first wife, Hercules had 2 children. It seemed like their family was living in bliss, but Hera was displeased with Hercules' happiness. The goddess hated Zeus's illegitimate son so much that she decided to destroy his family. Hera drove Hercules into a fit of madness, and he killed his wife and children. It's hard to imagine the guilt the hero carried with him for so long. Time passed, and one day, Hercules fell in love again. His beloved was Deianira, the daughter of King Oeneus of Calydon and Althea. According to some accounts, Deianira's true father was the god of wine, Dionysus, who had shared a bed with Althea while visiting Calydon. Hercules married Deianira and decided to take her with him to Tiryns. On their journey, they came across the swollen river Evenus. The hero hesitated. He could have easily crossed it alone, but how could he carry his new bride across? A centaur named Nessus came to their aid. For a fee, he ferried travelers across the river. Deianira climbed onto his back, while Hercules swam across. But suddenly, he heard his wife's loud cries for help and saw that the centaur, captivated by Deianira's beauty, was trying to abduct her. Hercules quickly made it to the shore, strung his bow, and fired a deadly arrow dipped in the poison of the Lernaean hydra. The arrow struck the centaur in the back, and he fell to his knees. However, Nessus was not willing to die without revenge. Gathering his last strength, he turned to Deianira. "Oh, beautiful daughter of Oeneus, I am guilty before you, but I wish to atone for my sin. Take my blood and keep it. If Hercules ever stops loving you, anoint his clothing with this blood, and you will become dearer to him than any other woman in the world." Deianira collected the blood in a small vial and hid it for safekeeping, but she said nothing to Hercules. Years passed. Hercules and Deianira lived happily, and they had a son named Hylas, who grew up strong and handsome. One day, Hercules set out on a campaign against King Eurytus. Long ago, before marrying Deianira, Hercules had wanted to take Eurytus' daughter, Iole, as his wife. Back then, he had defeated all the suitors in a competition, but Eurytus refused to give him his daughter. Hercules was enraged and vowed revenge. And now he had conquered the city, killed King Eurytus and his sons, and taken many prisoners, including the beautiful Iole. Jealousy seized Deianira's heart, and she remembered Nessus's dying gift. She soaked a luxurious cloak she had woven for her husband in the blood and placed it in a small box. Then she called a servant and said, "Hurry to Hercules and deliver my gift. Tell him to wear it when he offers a sacrifice to the great Zeus. But until then, not a single ray of bright Helios should touch the cloak." But soon, dark forebodings overwhelmed Deianira. She looked at the spot where she'd thrown the woolen rag soaked in the centaur's blood, which she had used to anoint the cloak, and saw that it had turned to ash, while a bloody foam had formed on the floor. Deianira realized that her messenger was bringing death to Hercules, but it was too late. Hercules was overjoyed to receive the gift from his wife. He put on the cloak and immediately his body broke out in sweat. Suddenly, he felt the poisoned fabric sticking to his skin. Hercules screamed in unbearable pain, fell to the ground, and tried to tear off the cursed garment, but the cloak only clung to his body more and more tightly. Hercules was carried home on a stretcher. There, he learned the whole truth about the gift and exclaimed, "So, this is how the prophecy of my father Zeus has come to pass. For it was foretold to me that I should not fear living enemies, but that I would descend into the dark realm of Hades because of a dead man's treachery." The hero's suffering was immense, and Deianira was horrified when she learned of it. Unable to bear what she had done, she pierced her heart with a sharp sword. Hercules, meanwhile, ordered his son to carry him to the high Mount Oeta. At the summit, a massive funeral pyre was built, and the greatest of heroes was laid upon it. Hercules' agony grew more intense. Death in the flames would be easier than such torment. But no one dared to light the pyre. Finally, a hero named Philoctetes arrived at the mountain, and Hercules addressed him. "Free me from this suffering, my friend. Light the pyre and take my mighty bow and deadly arrows for yourself." Philoctetes agreed. The flames of the pyre blazed brightly, but even brighter were the lightning bolts of the great Zeus. Athena Pallas and Hermes arrived in a golden chariot, lifted the greatest of heroes, and carried him up to Mount Olympus. There, the gods welcomed him. Hera forgot her old hatred for Hercules and gave him her daughter, the eternally youthful goddess Hebe, as his wife. Since then, Hercules has lived on radiant Olympus among the immortal gods, a reward from Zeus for his earthly labors and sufferings.